Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into Sacituzumab, a drug that's making some serious waves in the cancer treatment world.
It really is, and what's fascinating is it's not just another drug, you know.
Right. It seems to represent like a whole different way of thinking about fighting cancer.
Exactly, a whole new approach, and that's what we're going to unpack today.
We've got research papers, articles, the whole 9 yards ready to go.
Yeah, we're going deep on this one.
So let's start with the basics. What makes Sacituzumab so special?
Well, I think the most intriguing thing about it is its precision.
Precision.
Yeah, it's designed to target cancer cells very specifically.
So is that different from traditional chemo?
Absolutely, traditional chemotherapy can affect healthy cells too. Collateral damage.
Oh, so this is more like a sniper than a shotgun blast?
That's a great analogy, and that's why it's called a targeted therapy.
I see. And Sacituzumab, how does it fit into all of this?
So sacituzumab is what's called an antibody-drug conjugate, or ADC for short.
ADC.
And it basically combines the power of two approaches, immunotherapy and chemotherapy.
So it uses the body's immune system and then also directly attacks the cancer cells?
Exactly. It's kind of a one-two punch.
Okay, so how does it actually find those cancer cells, though?
Good question. So think of it this way. Many cancer cells have this protein called TROP2 on their surface.
TROP2.
Right? It acts like a flag almost that sacituzumab can recognize and lock onto.
So it's like a key fitting to a specific lock.
Perfect analogy. You got it.
So Sacituzumab sees that flag and knows, okay, this is where I need to deliver the payload.
That's the idea. And once it binds to that TROP2, the whole complex is pulled inside the cancer cell.
Okay, so then what happens inside?
This is where the chemotherapy part comes in. Sacituzumab releases a super potent chemo agent called SN38.
SN38, right directly into the cancer cell.
Yep, right where it needs to be.
It's like a Trojan horse sneaking in and then bam, unleashing the attack from within.
I like that. Another great analogy.
So this targeted delivery is what makes it so effective.
Exactly. By concentrating the chemo right there in the cancer cell, you minimize the damage to healthy cells.
Which means fewer side effects.
You got it. That's a huge win for patients.
So where is Sacituzumab actually being used right now?
So it's currently approved for treating two types of cancer, triple-negative breast cancer, or TNBC.
TNBC, right? I've heard of that.
And also urothelial carcinoma.
Okay, and these are significant because...
Well, TNBC especially is a really aggressive form of breast cancer.
Right. I remember reading about that.
And there haven't been a lot of great treatment options.
So this is a big deal for those patients.
Absolutely. It's a game changer.
I can imagine it must be so encouraging for people who have been battling these cancers with not a lot of hope.
Oh, absolutely. It's giving them a real fighting chance.
And what about the future? Any other potential uses for Sacituzumab?
Definitely research is ongoing to see if it could be used to treat other types of cancer.
Like what kinds?
Even cancers that have spread to the brain, which are notoriously difficult to treat.
Wow, that would be incredible.
It would, and it just shows the potential of this drug.
Now, of course, new cutting-edge treatments like this often come with a hefty price tag.
That's true.
So is there any work being done to make Sacituzumab more accessible?
That's a really important question, and thankfully the answer is yes. Researchers are developing something called biosimilars.
Biosimilars, what are those?
Think of them as highly similar versions of sacituzumab.
So like generic versions of the original drug.
That's a good way to put it. They're designed to be just as safe and effective, but produced at a lower cost.
Okay, so how does that help with accessibility?
Well, imagine researchers having access to a more affordable version of this drug.
I see they could do more studies, more experiments.
Exactly. They could test different combinations with other treatments, explore new ways to target cancer cells, even personalized treatments.
Wow, so it's opening up a lot of possibilities.
Absolutely. It's a really exciting development.
So is there already a biosimilar of Sacituzumab out there?
Yes, there is.
That's great.
It's generating a lot of buzz in the research community.
And is it available for patients yet?
Not quite. It's currently only available for research purposes.
Okay. But still, it's a step in the right direction.
For sure. It's a huge step towards making this groundbreaking treatment more widely available down the line.
So we've talked about how Sacituzumab acts like a guided missile, targeting cancer cells, leaving healthy cells alone.
Right.
And we've also touched on these promising biosimilars.
Yes, very promising.
That could make this type of treatment more accessible in the future.
Absolutely. It's a really exciting time for cancer research.
It is, and there's so much more to explore.
Oh yeah, we've only scratched the surface.
So stay tuned, because next we'll be zooming in and taking a closer look at the intricate dance between Sacituzumab and the cancer cells it targets.
It's going to be fascinating.
It is so. Stick around for part 2.
Welcome back to our deep dive into sacituzumab.
You know, it's amazing how this drug can precisely target cancer cells while leaving healthy ones pretty much untouched.
Right, it's all about that targeted approach.
But I'm curious, like, how does the attack itself actually work?
Ah, you want to get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, once that chemo agent SN38 gets released inside the cancer cell, what happens then?
So to really understand that, we need to zoom in, like way in to the molecular level.
Okay, let's do it.
Remember we talked about SN38 being a topoisomerase I inhibitor?
Yeah, you mentioned that before, but I gotta be honest, I'm not entirely sure what that means.
No worries, it's a mouthful for sure.
It is.
So basically, inside our cells, we have this enzyme called topoisomerase, and its job is to manage our DNA.
DNA, right? Those long thread-like structures.
Exactly, and topoisomerase I is like the caretaker, making sure those threads don't get all tangled up.
Okay, so it keeps things running smoothly.
Precisely. Especially when the cell needs to make copies of its DNA during cell division.
So, like when it's replicating?
Exactly.
Okay, so where does SN38 come into all of this?
Well, cancer cells are constantly dividing way faster than normal cells.
Right, they're multiplying out of control.
Exactly, and that means they're constantly copying their DNA.
And that's where SN38 messes things up.
It's like throwing a wrench right into the gears.
So it disrupts the DNA copying process. How does it do that?
SN38 specifically targets topoisomerase. It binds to this enzyme and basically freezes it in place.
Freezes it? What does that do?
Imagine like hitting the pause button on a crucial step in that whole DNA replication process.
Oh, so the DNA can't be copied properly.
Nope, it gets all tangled up and the cell can't divide successfully.
It's like trying to build a house from a blueprint that's been ripped to shreds.
That's a perfect analogy. The cell basically goes haywire and eventually self-destructs.
Wow. So sacituzumab isn't just delivering a toxic payload, it's also sabotaging the cancer cell's ability to survive.
It's a double whammy.
That's pretty impressive.
And this targeted approach is what makes sacituzumab so revolutionary. It's way more precise than traditional chemo, which can harm healthy dividing cells too.
Right, because those cells are also replicating.
Exactly.
And speaking of revolution, we talked about those biosimilars, those more affordable versions of sacituzumab.
Right, the ones being used in research.
Yeah, how are those impacting the field?
They're opening up so many doors for researchers.
Like, how so?
Well, because they're more affordable, scientists can conduct bigger, more complex studies.
I see, so they can really experiment and explore different options.
Exactly. They can test different combinations of drugs, explore new ways to target cancer cells, and even personalize treatments based on a patient's genetic makeup.
It sounds like we're on the verge of this whole new era of personalized cancer treatment.
I think we are. It's an exciting time.
It really is. It's amazing to think about the potential impact on people's lives.
It is, and it's not just about developing new drugs. It's about understanding cancer at a deeper level.
Right, figuring out why some treatments work for some people but not others.
Exactly. And ultimately, finding ways to make cancer treatments more effective and less toxic.
That's the goal.
Absolutely.
All this talk about targeted therapy and cutting-edge research, it's fascinating.
It is.
But it's easy to get lost in the science, you know?
Right.
So can you bring it back down to earth for us? What does this actually mean for patients? What kind of impact is sacituzumab having on people's lives?
That's the most important question. At the end of the day, all this progress is about improving lives.
Of course.
And for patients battling aggressive cancers like TNBC, sacituzumab offers a real chance where there often wasn't one before.
So we're talking about potentially extending lives.
Yes, and not just extending life, but improving its quality.
Giving people more time with their loved ones.
Absolutely. Imagine a treatment that can shrink tumors, reduce pain, and give people the energy to enjoy life again.
That's powerful.
That's what sacituzumab is doing for many patients.
It sounds like sacituzumab is not just a treatment, it's like a beacon of hope.
It truly is, and with the rise of biosimilars and continued research, that hope is only going to grow stronger.
That's encouraging to hear, but I imagine there are challenges too, right?
Of course, there always are with any new treatment.
Like what?
One of the biggest hurdles is drug resistance. Sometimes cancer cells find ways to evade treatment.
Even targeted ones like sacituzumab.
Even though it's a constant battle.
So how do researchers tackle that?
They're constantly working on it. They're studying how resistance develops, looking for ways to overcome it with new drug combinations.
So it's like a chess match.
It is. They're even exploring ways to use gene editing tools to make immune cells even better at hunting down and destroying those cancer cells.
It's like an arms race.
You could say that, but the progress we're seeing is undeniable. We're learning more and more about cancer every day.
And that knowledge is leading to new and better treatments.
Exactly.
But here's where things get even more interesting.
Oh.
we've been focusing on sacituzumab's role in cancer treatment,
Right.
but its potential might extend far beyond that.
Now you're talking. This is where it gets really exciting.
Are you saying this drug could have applications beyond oncology?
Remember how sacituzumab targets the TROP2 protein?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out TROP2 isn't just found on cancer cells.
Really?
It's also present in other parts of the body, playing a role in processes like inflammation and tissue repair.
So this drug that's designed to kill cancer cells could potentially be used to address completely different health issues.
That's what researchers are starting to explore.
What kind of issues are we talking about here?
Well, for one, they're looking into its potential for treating autoimmune diseases.
Autoimmune diseases where the body's immune system attacks healthy tissues.
Exactly.
So by targeting TROP2 sacituzumab could potentially help regulate the immune system.
That's the idea. It's like fine-tuning the immune system to restore balance.
That's incredible. It's like turning down the volume on an overactive immune response.
Exactly.
But what about Alzheimer's? How could sacituzumab possibly help with a neurodegenerative disease?
So this is where things get really interesting. Remember, TROP2 is also found on certain cells in the brain,
Right.
and research suggests that it might play a role in the inflammation that contributes to Alzheimer's disease.
So by targeting TROP2 in the brain, sacituzumab could potentially reduce that inflammation.
And potentially protect brain cells from further damage.
So this cancer drug might hold clues to treating a debilitating brain disease.
It's still early days. We need more research to confirm these findings. But the initial results are promising.
It's amazing to think that a drug designed to fight cancer could have such far-reaching applications.
It really highlights the interconnectedness of different biological systems. What we learn about one disease can often shed light on others.
It makes you wonder what other secrets are hidden within the human body.
Absolutely. And this is just one example of how the lines between different medical specialties are blurring. We're seeing more and more crossover research.
It's like a domino effect of scientific progress.
I love that analogy. And it's this spirit of collaboration and exploration that fuels medical advancements.
Well, I, for one, am excited to see where this all leads.
Me too. It feels like we're on the cusp of a new era in medicine.
One where targeted therapies like sacituzumab could revolutionize treatment for all sorts of diseases.
I agree. The future of medicine is bright, filled with possibilities that we can only begin to imagine.
Well said. It's been an incredible journey exploring the world of sacituzumab with you today.
It's been a pleasure.
We've gone from understanding its targeted action against cancer cells to envisioning its potential to transform treatment for other diseases.
And we're just getting started.
That's right. There's so much more to explore.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned for part 3, where we'll delve even deeper into these potential applications beyond cancer.
It's going to be fascinating.
It is, so stick around. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been on quite a journey with sacituzumab, haven't we?
We have. It's been fascinating to unpack all its potential.
It really has. I mean, from fighting cancer to maybe even treating Alzheimer's.
I know, it's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. So let's pick up where we left off. We were talking about how sacituzumab could have applications beyond oncology.
Right. Those possibilities are what really get me excited.
Me too.
Yeah.
So remind us, how does this cancer drug potentially branch out into other areas of medicine?
Well, it all comes back to that TROP2 protein we keep talking about.
Right. The one sacituzumab target.
Exactly. And remember, TROP2 isn't just found on cancer cells.
Right. You mentioned that it's also present in other parts of the body.
It is. It's involved in things like inflammation and tissue repair.
So theoretically, by targeting TROP2, sacituzumab could help regulate those processes.
Exactly. That's what makes it so intriguing and why researchers are exploring its potential for treating a whole range of conditions.
Okay, so let's break that down. We talked about autoimmune diseases before.
Right, where the immune system attacks healthy tissues.
So how could sacituzumab help with that?
Well, by targeting those TROP2 proteins on specific immune cells, it could potentially help dampen that immune response.
Oh, so it's like calming down the immune system, preventing it from going overboard.
Exactly. It's like fine-tuning the system, restoring balance.
That's incredible. But what about Alzheimer's? That's a whole different ballgame.
It is, but remember how I said TROP2 is also found in the brain?
Yeah.
Well, some research suggests it might play a role in the inflammation that contributes to Alzheimer's.
Oh, so by targeting TROP2 in the brain, sacituzumab could potentially reduce that inflammation and protect brain cells.
That's the theory. It's still early-stage research, of course. But the initial results are promising.
It's pretty mind-boggling to think that a drug designed for cancer could hold the key to treating Alzheimer's.
It really is, and it just shows you how interconnected different biological systems are, you know.
Right. What we learn about one disease can help us understand others.
Exactly, and that's what's so exciting about medical research. You never know where it might lead.
It's like a constantly evolving puzzle.
I like that, and we're all working together to put the pieces together.
And with new tools like Sacituzumab, we're making some serious progress.
Absolutely, we're learning more every day, and that knowledge is leading to new and better treatments.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
It really is. And who knows what the future holds?
Maybe we'll find a cure for Alzheimer's. Maybe we'll eradicate cancer altogether.
Wouldn't that be something?
It would be amazing. But even if we just continue to make incremental progress, improve people's lives even a little bit.
That's what it's all about.
It is, well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the world of Sacituzumab.
I agree. It's been a real eye-opener.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery.
We hope you learned something new today.
We sure did. And remember, knowledge is power. So stay curious, keep exploring.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to unlock the next medical breakthrough.
Until next time, stay healthy and keep those brains engaged.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.